Greetings, April. So I went ahead and did your spread, and I will just kind of try to tell it as a story of what I'm getting. If you have any questions at all, go ahead and reach out and let me know. So you had asked, I focused on what you had asked. You have the Ace of Pentacles as your major card here. Now, it is accompanied with the Six of Swords and the Nine of Pentacles in reverse, along with the Hanged Man. You have with the World card here, she looks light. She looks like she's dancing on air. She's not worried about anything. But then you have the Death card. So, kind of getting, I don't want to say crossroads with you, but I do want to say that right now is a time to start planting a seed, okay? When it comes to your mental health and finances. I feel like they come together as one, in this spread. There was or going to be an end of a cycle here. Perhaps it could be a spiritual, death to renew, or someone will serve their time here. But there's going to be a completion of something here coming up. You're going to need guidance, whether it be from close friends, people you love, etc. But there is an end of a cycle here, okay? It is all about your mind, your body, and your spirit in this spread. With the Nine of Pentacles in reverse, the material world and the nature of it all, they're all sacred extensions to your spirit. And it's all manifesting goals and planting seeds. There has to be an ending to something. Whether it be a loss, something that you're clinging to, a person that you just can't let go of. Because right now with the Nine of Pentacles in reverse, you're not where you want to be mentally, spiritually, even, financially. You're just not where you want to be. So I want to ask if you're working, because I would need to relook and clarify a few cards. You have the Hanged Man. So the Hanged Man, he's just like, he doesn't want to do anything. He doesn't want to move forward. He doesn't want to progress. He doesn't want to plant seeds. You're at that time where you just want to wait and see what happens before making any moves. You're basically in a waiting period. You have the Empress with that. And I want to ask if your mother's still around. She usually signifies to me a motherly figure in your life. Someone that provided, nurturing and love and care. And with that card is also symbolizing to me for you to definitely take care of you. Because I don't feel that financial abundance is going to come in unless you're mentally prepared for it. I want to ask if a lot of people take from you. And when I say take, it could be energy. It could be loans. It could be little bits here and there, money, whatever. It could even be as simple as you're the one that has to call people because they don't call you. They'll text, but they won't call, So I want to say to pull back and, don't give as much as yourself as you've been giving. You don't have to entertain everybody. And you don't have to entertain everything. You can be absent in times when people, are reaching out to just talk or need your advice. You can be absent. You don't have to be there. Now, if it's finances, I want to say that, make sure it's an equal amount. Don't go overboard. If you're going to take something or borrow something, make sure it's something that you're able to, tend to and send back to that person. Um, a return to sender kind of situation. Now, I do feel there was someone in your family unit or someone that you look at as family that you're just not seeing the benefits from this person. Like they're just not there. They're not showing you what you show to other people. You expect so much from other people because you would do that. Like you would give that love. You would be there. You would answer. You would, you kind of know what I'm saying. You would never do that to somebody. And when someone treats you like that, whether it be, disengage from you or, take your energy and just leave or, Seven of Swords, deception, you wouldn't do that to someone else. So you are completely in shock if someone does that to you. And sometimes it's okay. You don't have to see the benefits of that relationship. Whether, like I said, if it's a friend or a close relative, you can just, accept it for what it is. It's not your fault. It's nobody's fault. It's just the way that person is. Now, if you're looking to be closer to someone in your family unit, I feel that now's the time for you to take that energy, to reach out or say, listen, let's put a squash to anything that's going on in that scenario. Why do I feel like in the spread you are completely wanting to sail away from close relationships or family? Or are you already? Because this card here is all about moving towards calmer waters, moving towards love, love of yourself, love of your mental health, of your clarity, love, maybe to receive finances. Maybe you gave up everything in hopes of financial abundance. I want to say that stability and security is coming. Yes. With this card here, you definitely have to plant seeds. And I do see two men in this scenario. Whether it's the same man with two different personalities or the same person. I do feel that there will come you will either make an agreement with somebody or you will sign something with somebody. So with that, I feel, yes, there will be some financial abundance coming. You're all about action. All right? You have the Moon card there. So I can see where you're talking about with the darkness setting in. Because you feel trapped. And when we feel trapped, we feel like there's nothing else out there for us. Like we shouldn't even try, right? But you have the Knight of Swords there. He is saying to plant those seeds. To fight for yourself. To go after what you want. What is it that you want? Why do you feel trapped? She feels trapped, but she's also comfortable there. She feels safe there. Maybe you're scared. Don't let the dark thoughts, don't let the intrusive thoughts win. Okay? When you wake up in the morning, just say, financial abundance is coming to me. Something good is going to happen to me today. And say that when you go to bed at night. Because, you have the Victor card. I pulled that twice already today. Things are going to work out for you. Even in love, it's going to happen. You are the one to set this all in motion. Okay? You have to take control of the steering wheel and steer it in the direction that you want to go. And just head there. Go forward with what you want here. You know, you may feel like you're not good enough, or there, you know, whatever, if your qualities aren't good enough to reach for those stars. But you have the Ace of Swords here. Ace of Wands. Yeah, Ace of Swords. Sorry, I couldn't read. He is all about, there may look like a cloud, and it may look like it's, you know, too far of a reach to get, but it's right there. Like, all you have to do is reach through, but you have to be mentally and spiritually ready and grounded to do that. You know, if you're going to say something to somebody that may hurt them a little bit, that's going to happen, okay, especially with a male. But I kind of feel that you are the one to make this choice. Like, you have a decision to make, whether it be to go for what you want here, or just explode, you know, and let everybody know how you're feeling and what are they doing to make you feel better or not. And that's you, and that's your personality. And if that's what needs to come out, then that's what needs to come out. Because you can't keep everything inside and end up, you know, upset, losing sleep, you know, because that's when the moon card's going to step in and the intrusive thoughts are going to win. So to know that financial abundance is coming, and so is love. All right? It's either a renewed love or a new love. Do you see two men, at least one, that's going to help with his finances? All right? But you can't feel trapped. You have to get out of that situation where you feel trapped. Either if it's just leaving for the day, getting a break and coming back, maybe you just need a little break, you know, from the situation you're in. And maybe that's all it'll take, you know, get on a different schedule, or start something that will lift your spirits up. You know, almost like when we are cleansing ourselves. You know, we go outside, we start taking walks, we ground, and we're not only doing that for our physical health, we're doing that for our mental health, to get out and get some air, to think, you know, and be in nature, you know, because when we stop seeing those things and we stop going and being in nature and you know, of all the beautifulness that's in this world, you know, we will become mundane, we will become stuck, you know. So to know that it's only a reach away, start doing what you love to do, whether it be dancing, whatever, you know, singing, whatever. But I do feel that the abundance will come once the spiritual and the mental is good. All right? So let me know if you have any questions, and much love to you.